डांस कर ले ऐसा आई आया सुकु सुकु श्रीदेवी जैसा आई आया सुकु सुकु. I have just taken up a film with Simbu. Triple A. I have once met him, I think maybe at a birthday party.
What about your chemistry with Simbu? Are you in love now? By any chance? Because you coolly walk out of a marriage and you fall and you have a live-in relationship.
I have the most open book in the industry. I think my life is the most open because
What's your role in Bahubali 2? Do you have the same kind of lengthy role or?
Of course, the fan following that Ajit has, and I'm very fond of Ajit as a person. He's one of the most humble and the most grounded actors I have worked with. Of course, when I worked with Vijay, I was much younger and I was doing like some 10 films at that time.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And your film, Devi, in 3 languages, is all set to release. Tell us about Devi because it's a very challenging film.
Yeah.
Devi in Tamil, Abhinetri in Telugu, and in Hindi.
Tu tak tutiya. Yeah.
So it's a very challenging role, which I think it's a dream come true role for you, doing 3 different heroine characters.
Yeah, I mean for me this is actually a dual role in the film. And well, at the end, I was getting a lot of scripts which had, which were heroine centric and which have a lot of meat for the heroine. But for me, what was tricky to decide on was the person who will execute the film. Because many times when you hear a subject, it sounds great. So on inception level, it's great, but on the execution level, it's not as good. So for me, what was important was to work with a director who kind of understands, the space I come from, and also, have an interesting overall appeal to the film, like an entertaining film. For me being the main part has never been a criteria for me to be a part of a film. For me, it's always like the overall film has to work, and if that works, then my character works.
Like Rajamouli had given you the best ever break, that Avantika character.
Yeah, and
simply rocked, and that took you to a different level.
Exactly, and it's also being a part of a good film at the end for an actor is very, very crucial. You can do n number of films, but at the end, you'll be able to count only a very few on your fingertips, which will be really, really memorable and really nice. And I'm hoping Devi is one of that. And I was very happy to see how confident A.L. Vijay sir was when he was narrating, and literally, like I've said before in several other interviews, it was literally 15 minutes for me to say, yeah, you know what, I'm doing this film. Because it was very instinctive, the decision was very, very instinctive, and I felt like I could connect with the characters immediately.
And what about your future films in Tamil?
I have just taken up a film with Simbu. Triple A. And also I have Vishal's film which is on the verge of release. Maybe I'm hoping next month or the month after that. So yeah, these are the two. One is after Devi, immediately is Vishal's film in the same month, or maybe the next. And thereafter that Simbu's film.
How was it working with Vishal?
Well, he's of course, it's very funny, we were talking how I had met him really again very much initially in my career, and he remembers me as one child, and then of course now we're working together, and it's great. It's like friends working together. I always met him socially, so we knew each other socially, but of course hadn't worked together. But he's very conscious, he makes sure that from the songs to, he's very, very involved in every aspect, which is a great trait. And he has a lot to contribute, and he knows he is doing that commercial genre, which is again a way, I personally feel that's the most difficult genre to deal in, because it's like giving the same content but a different packaging, and every time it has to be a it has to be very organic, otherwise it never works. The moment you try to contrive a commercial film, it always goes wrong. It has to be an organic effort.
Yeah.
So.
And what about your chemistry with Simbu?
I haven't met him also yet. So
you haven't met Simbu?
I have once met him, I think maybe at a birthday party. That's all I remember meeting him. I've never met him after that. So yeah, I will be meeting him. You
haven't started shooting with him?
No, we haven't started filming Triple A.
Okay, but you spoke over the phone and...
No, I haven't even spoken to him.
Okay.
I met the director regarding the script, so I met him and now haven't yet met Simbu. But I'm sure, I mean, he's an amazing actor. I have always seen the body of work he's done. And as an actor, he's brilliant. So I'm really looking forward to doing this film because again, for me, this script really excited me.
Okay.
And it's not that run-of-the-mill heroine character. So I was very thrilled to hear that, I have something nice to do, something really to perform. I come as a very crucial part of the subject and the story.
So will you be working with Vijay and Ajit again? I mean,
why not? Yeah, I mean, I think when the right film comes along my way, I just don't want to do it for the heck of something. I want to do it because it's it's that film that will call for me, need me. So yeah, I'm always there. I mean, for me, it's who would not want to work with Ajit or Vijay? Both of them have always been loved by the audiences, and their films, like I remember Veeram, when Veeram had come out, it was such a hysteria because the film was so good.
Okay.
And of course the fan following that Ajit has, and I'm very fond of Ajit as a person. He's one of the most humble and the most grounded actors I have worked with.
Okay.
Of course, when I worked with Vijay, I was much younger. And I was doing like some 10 films at that time.
Okay.
So that the memory of that film itself is slightly blur because there was so much happening around that time.
Okay.
But I think it's high time I do a nice, one good film with Vijay as well.
What's your role in Bahubali 2? Do you have the same kind of lengthy role or?
My character is exactly the same. I play Avantika only. And but of course, yes, my part is much lesser than what was in the first part. And yeah, I mean, it's basically the culmination of Bahubali's story, which is the backstory basically.
So you still have some song and something to do in Bahubali?
I have action to do in the film. So because my character was action driven.
Okay.
So sticking to my characterization, I do action in the film. Consistently, if you notice, I've tried to do is I try to look very different in my films. Like if you compare a Bahubali's get-up to a Kirti's get-up, or from Kirti to Dharmadurai, or Dharmadurai to Devi, I consciously think of how I can even not only behave differently or act like a character, but also look different, because every person looks different, right?
Yeah.
Similarly, I feel and wish that every character also should look different, because that's what will give it an edge, or give it its own uniqueness.
Edge will be there.
So I try to take like a very conscious decision and trying to even make the character look like that person.
And what about your personal life? There have been on and off gossips, but how do you handle all this?
I have the most open book in the industry. I think my life is the most open because my life can be very conveniently divided into movies. If you go to see this from here to here, I'm doing this film. From here to here, I'm doing this film. So it's actually quite an open book. And
work involved with some glamorous people you work with, and
well, I think it's inevitable. People talk, and if you do one film extra with somebody, people want to talk about how you're linked with that actor and how, because it's the most convenient thing to do.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, nothing worth talking about really.
Are you in love now? By any chance?
Not yet. That bug hasn't caught me yet.
So no marriage plans in the near future?
No. I'm very, for me right now, and this was always something I wanted as a young girl, that I wanted to have, a very nice and a very enjoyable career. And I have been one of those fortunate people who has had the opportunity to do what I really want to do and what I really like to do. I don't know how many young girls who get to do that. So yeah, I'm perfectly and completely focused on my work as of now. As I have told you, even every single time that we met in the previous past, since I was I don't know how old. So yeah, I mean, but I'm sure. I mean, I truly believe in marriage, and
but you will go for an arranged marriage, or?
I don't know. I might fall in love, or I might do an arranged marriage. That only future can tell. But I'm open to both. I'm not somebody. I don't have a preconceived notion as to what I should do. So I haven't really tapped that arena of my life yet. But yes, I do believe in marriage, and I will eventually marry for sure.
Now, Dharma has given you a very big reach, I'm told, in B&C markets of Tamil Nadu. How did this decision come about? And your decision to do this particular film, you don't get married to the hero. You walk out of a marriage and you have a live-in relationship with the Vijay Sethupathi.
Well, for that particular character, she's having a very bad marriage. You know, Subhashini's character is going through a bad marriage where her husband is non-cooperative, and it's nothing like what she had imagined. So her walking out of the marriage is not a simple thing. It's quite serious for her because because it's causing her a lot of emotional trauma. So, and of course, Vijay Sethupadhi's character also happens to be a friend from the past, and also somebody who she probably had feelings for.
Because it's said in the film very subtly.
Very subtly, she probably had a crush on him, or she liked him as a person, or liked him as a friend. And then if you meet somebody after so many years, definitely if it was a next flame, it tends to become into something more.
That old
so
flame,
so it's also a gradual, maybe it's a more realistic.
It worked out so beautifully.
Yeah, I find that more realistic than just like love at first sight.
That's
which many a times happens in people's life, that you met somebody really long ago and then you want to be with the person in future. So yeah.
Did you dub in your own voice in that movie?
No, for me, Mansi, she is a singer, and she has been dubbing for me. She dubbed Tola. I think she dubbed Bahubali as well.
Because your lip sync is perfect. A lot of people say lip sync of heroines coming in from Mumbai especially don't match on the screen.
Yeah.
But if you see Dharma and even the trailer of Devi, your lip sync is perfect.
I try to, because I speak basic Tamil, so I can communicate in the language. What I probably lack at this point of time to be able to dub on my own is a slang and a pronunciation, maybe absolute accurate pronunciation. And the only reason I refrain from getting into dubbing at this point of time is I don't want to. Sometimes it's distracting, when even if you have a slight slang or if you have a slight mispronunciation. Just to avoid that distraction to the audience, I'm refraining from dubbing at this point.
Devi, what sort of film is it? You're playing a dual role, or because you're...
Yes, I'm playing a dual role. Of course, horror films have been made number of times in the South. So, when you're even about to utter the word horror, people expect something very predictable. But for me, what attracted me to the subject was the screenplay. And it's a comedy. It's not the kind of horror that is gory or bloody or makes you distort your face or makes you put some scary makeup, or none of that. There is a ghost in the film, but it's not that kind of horror which is the kind which you need to shut your eyes for. So I think it's a beautiful love story between a husband and wife. And communicated in a very fun and very subtle manner. It's more entertaining. The format is entertaining.
How was it working with Prabhu Deva?
Oh, meeting him itself is, when you meet somebody you've idolized all your life, it's amazing because you get to work with the person, you get to understand how the person functions. It's a great insight into another human being's, mind and space. And then of course he training me for the 15 days that I took for my rehearsals. That was a great revelation from the perspective of how I can approach dance even in the near future. It's not only just for this film.
That dance we saw in the trailer.
Yes.
Magnificent.
Thank
How
you.
did you do those difficult footsteps?
It was just those 15 days of literally very grueling training.
You mean to say Prabhu Deva taught you how to do the choreography at that particular...
Yes, so how we did it was he constantly was there through the rehearsals, but he also had another choreographer. His name is Paresh Shidorkar, and Paresh also did Sir's song.
Yeah.
So he choreographed Sir's song.
Yeah.
And he's a wonderful choreographer, and he's also a teacher. So he teaches dance as well. So he trains other Bollywood actors like Tiger Shroff, who's I really like his style of dancing, and I love the way he dances. He dances really well. So he trained me through this 15-day period with Prabhu sir and two other assistants. So literally one step was taught to me by different people taught me different steps because
but all fell into place beautifully.
Yeah, because one would do one step very very well, like that was that person's forte. So I would learn it from that person, and then another step I'd learn it from another person because that person was good at that step. So it was just to take the best of everyone and try to assimilate all that and then produce it in a song.
That song for us?
I can, but I know the Hindi version. Is that okay?
Please go ahead.
डांस कर ले ऐसा आया सुकु सुकु श्रीदेवी जैसा आया सुकु सुकु.
Wow. Right.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Suku Suku of Shami Kapoor.
Well, I think that's how the word was coined. We were looking at a hook line, and Suku Suku I think came from Shami Ji's song only.
Yeah, Sajid Bajaj music is also fantastic.
Yeah.
Both the songs which
he's done is very very nice. Yeah. So basically 2 songs are done by Sajid Wajid.
Yeah.
And then Chalte Chalte, that's Pesamal Pesi Parte. And Rang Rang Rangoli is done by Vishal.
Vishal, okay. So I think if the music works, the film also should work to a large extent. And people come because yesterday, what I seen from the trailer, people are raving about your dance movement. Nobody, no heroine has paid that kind of,
I'm glad.
trouble over that.
No, for me, the most important thing is I really enjoy dancing. It's something that I've always loved doing, and I started, like you of course have seen me since I was a young girl, so I started off really young, so I didn't have time to train or prepare to get into the film industry. So I never got an opportunity to learn dance.
Tamu, the thing is that your Bollywood career hasn't really taken off. Do you think you made the wrong decisions in doing films like Hum Shakal and Himmatwala?
Well, in an actor's career, just as with the same mind and same heart that I took Bahubali, with that same mind and same heart I took Hum Shakals or Himmatwala. But the thing with our industry is it's very unpredictable, and the fate of a film is really not in your hands, and the way it gets received also is not in your hands.
Deep down in your heart, you want to succeed in your own language, right?
See, Hindi is has a national reach.
Yes.
So of course, when you do a Hindi film, it has a bigger reach.
Yes.
So
much bigger.
Much bigger reach. So it's great. I mean, I would love to be a part of a Hindi film which has that kind of reach, which has a good story to tell. But at this point in time in my career, I don't want to just take up a film because it's Tamil or because it's Telugu or because it's Hindi. For me, at the end, as an actor, whatever recognition or name I get because of a good film, and that could be in any language. And the biggest example is a film like Bahubali. It was never meant to be a Hindi film; it was a dubbed Hindi film. But it helped me. It helped me. Like today, whatever Hindi audience knows me is because of that. So then, how do you judge what is the film you should do or what is the work you should do? I think a lot just happens and you have to just let that happen to you.
Okay, and you will be balancing your career in all this Bollywood, Hollywood and Tollywood.
Yes, I intend on. But I'm not trying to, like I told you again, like there was a phase where I did more Telugu films. And then people in the Tamil film industry would say, why aren't you doing Tamil films? Maybe you're not in the market. That's how people talk. But it's not about being in the market or not, but there's only so much time. There's only so much time I can give to a film. And I'm not somebody who wants like 10 films, and I don't look at the number. For me, the number is, like for me, doing Devi was like doing 3 films. Because I've, it was shot in 3 languages, so it requires that kind of time.
What's your comment on one of the highest paid actresses in South?
Well, it's great. I've worked really hard for it, and it holds a lot of responsibility as well. So when you are one of the highest paid, you also hold a lot of responsibility on your shoulders, and I take that responsibility very seriously, and I try to do my best every time.
Okay, continue, rock on.
Thank you.
Hopefully, Devi will become a very big hit.
I really hope so.
It's a very crucial film for you.
Yes, it is a very crucial film for me. It's the first title role, so.
Your title role.
So I hope that holds good.
Yeah, and it'll give you a further lease of life in all the
different languages. Yeah.
Different languages.
Yeah.
All the best, Nam.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.